Paramadina Public Policy Institute, and along with Mr. Kita Wiryawan as well as Pak Teddy Rahmat, we've been involved since day one of this great initiative by Paramadina, Pak Wija, and of course Pak Anies Baswedan. A lot of familiar faces here in this room, including my dad. Up front, very familiar. Used to see him a lot when I was smaller. I'd like to give some opening remarks, and I think on this great topic about curbing the corruptions and how it impacts or promote business and economic growth, because a lot of the notion in our country, since this great corruption eradications against corruptions movement takes place, many of the what do you call quote unquote the status quo said that a lot of Indonesian civil servants now, who in the past want to become a project leader, or here we call it pimpinan project, pimpro, have not basically rise up and offer themselves the positions of the project leader, because of the corruptions movement would ensure or would guarantee them when they leave as project leader, the next stop would be at the KPK or with the Indonesian corruption commissions. So a lot of people actually insinuates that this movement actually have not promote or propel the economic growth, but it is actually hindering the growth, because much of the projects have not been executed. And if you read Kompas today, our finance minister actually started to complain that the money that is being received by the government is at the record high, but actually the realizations of the projects for the government projects have not been done. And many actually questions why this has been a problem, not only this year, but it has been a problem for 5-6 years. And much of the status quo corners blame this rampant anti-corruption movement. I am of the opinion of another camp that actually it is, what do you call it, a teething problem, teething issues, because Indonesia is undergoing such a massive transformations on this aspect. And 13 years ago, there is not even a word, corruptions being uttered so freely in this community. It is actually the C word become such a something of a taboo. But now people openly talk about it, and people are actually making positive move towards it, and now the greater awareness and greater understanding would be a result from these transformations. I guess if you talk about growth, and Professor Klitgaard would know this, Indonesia has been growing, and even during the 2008 mini, or we call it subprime crisis, Indonesia still grew about 4%. So you see the potential on this remarkable economy that is now 16th largest in the world. Many of us did not realize that this country is number 16 now, and within 8 years we will be number 10 at the current trajectory. And a lot of people are now speculating with the infrastructure build-up and with more and more reform. Actually, within the year 2050, we will make top 5 in the world in terms of the largest economy. Now, if you look at those numbers, which is staggering, and coupled with the World Bank number, that 50 million of Indonesians, bottom of the pyramid, actually graduated to middle income in the last 7 years. That is 7 million people every year. That's twice the size of Singapore. If you look at this sheer amount of growth in the middle income. And if you want to take evidence of, if you want to experience it, just go to the Hotel Indonesia roundabout on Sunday morning. You will see the explosion in showing to you, because you would not be able to walk. So a lot of people are there with their bicycles, walking or jogging, and not only in Jakarta, but in many other cities around the country. You see these explosions of middle class. So what it entails is we need to make sure that this economic growth would not stagnate. And I think the issues about corruptions and governance would be center and would be prominent. The government also have to grapple with other issues like poverty or even the buildup of infrastructures. But I think the topic of today would be very, very important in terms of building and actually lamenting that this improvement in governance and improvement in corruptions would actually promote economic growth. So my dream is, with all the improvement, Indonesia would not just grow by 6%. We're too happy sometimes. There's a word in Bahasa Jawa or Javanese, nrimo. We accepted that we grow 6%. We should not, because we have the capability to grow 7%, even 8%, if we improve the governance and if we continue to fight against the corruptions, plus other activities such as infrastructure and so on and so forth. Indonesia Setara is a movement, foundations that we created to basically spread the spirit of can-do spirit and make entrepreneurialism mindset embedded in the young minds of Indonesia. So again, I think it's a long way to go. The next 4 or 5 years would be a challenge, and there are always distraction. If you read the Indonesian paper now, out of 10 headlines, 12 is about corruptions actually. So we need to move beyond just headlines, but going into the culture, going into the mindset of the young minds, and make it no longer something of a taboo, but something that is embedded in the entrepreneurial culture. That in order for us to excel, in order for us to be setara, in order for us to be leveled with other countries in the world, we need to really improve on governance, and we need to move and improve on the corruption movement. I think that's sort of like the opening remarks. I have been asked to introduce the next speaker, which is sort of like crazy, because this next speaker would not need any introduction, and he owns this building actually. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my best friend, Indonesia's next president, Pak Anies Baswedan. Thank you very much.